What it do? I'm Nico None, and this week I made my own 90s R&B group.
Too close to calling now, 'cause we only got one little night to make up. Hope you don't think on me if it's meant to be you and I. If you like, you'll find me out. Too close to calling now, 'cause we only got one little night to make up. Hope you don't think on me if it's meant to be you and I. If you like, you'll find me out.
So this week I was listening to a lot of 90s R&B to get some inspiration, particularly Aaliyah, Jodeci, Jon B, Ginuwine. I really wanted to capture that soulful yet minimal essence, within their production, particularly around their vocal harmonies. First, I wanted to start with drums to get a groove. So for the drums, just going for, that nice classic digital sound. I'm pretty sure I got all these sounds from Splice. I got kind of your basic necessities, got your kick, snare, hi-hat, got snaps, triangle, and the reverse snare. The only thing I added in the insert was an EQ, kind of just got rid of the lows and highs. Groove is pretty simple, not too much going on, but as you can see, they're not fully on the grid. So what I do, soft quantize, hit Q a couple times, just so I can tighten up just a little bit, but not completely on the grid, just so I can feel that groove still. So I'm gonna tell you right now, I did not play the chords and the licks together because your boy can't do all that at the same time. So first what I did was record the chords first. So the chords are pretty simple. We're in the key of D minor. First chord, we're at the 6. So this is a B flat major 7. And then we're gonna go down to the 5. So that's A minor 7. And then down to the 1, which is D minor 7. And then we end on the 3, which is F major 7. And that leads us back to the 6. The only thing I did at the second time was changing up the 5 chord. So we'll do the first chord again. And then here we're gonna do the dominant 5/7 chord. So that's A dominant 7. So here's what you get. For the licks, I can't remember what all I did, but I did a lot of little slides, pops, primarily using the pentatonic scale. So for processing, I kept it the same on both the licks and the guitar tracks. Just a little bit of compression, kind of balancing out the low and highs. And then I did this little fun little thing. Try to take out some of those muddy mids, brought out some of the highs within the guitar. So for the bass, this is one of the simplest bass lines. Pretty much 95% I just followed the chords. So some key takeaways from this is I try to really emphasize the groove using the drums. For this one, I like to hold the bass note until the snare hits. So it kind of gives that tension and release. Do little kind of pops here and there. And then this walk up at the end, which I thought sounded, pretty cool. So for the sound, I wanted, stick with the kind of digital sound, like what they would do with hardware. So I'll use this preset. So I have 2 electric pianos in this sample. The first one just follows along the chords. I just really made sure to play around voicing. So Voice leading wise, they fit well together. Not too many jumps. So first chord we have, similar to the guitar, B flat major 7. Next chord, we're gonna go down to a A7 sus4. So that's the 5, and then we're gonna go to that 1, that luscious D minor 9, and then that F major 9, so that 3 at the end. And just like the guitar, second time around, everything's the same except for that 5. So that 5 is gonna go down to a A7, so dominant, which leads back to the 1 and into that minor 9. You know, just for a little bit of melody, but since the guitar licks were doing so much, really felt like the electric piano shouldn't really be all that. So I had it turned down around like -12. And then I just added, you know, a little bit of sprinkle on top. For the first electric piano, I'm using the Lounge Lizard. Really like how warm and smooth it sounds. And then the second one, I'm using the 80s FM EP preset from Analog Bank. All right, so for the rest of the sounds, we got, let's see, a lead. Then we got a string. You know, good old high string. For this, I'm using Cubase, and they have their plugin Halion Sonic. Then I add some wind chimes, because, you know, what's more 90s than that? All right, so for what I consider the most important part of this sample, aside from maybe the guitar, is that little vocal chant. So this is where I spent most of my time on the sample. Everything else maybe took around an hour, and then this took me probably like a separate hour and a half, especially trying to get the choirs down. So what I did first, you know, was create some lyrics. I didn't want anything, well, I was trying to play a blend. Didn't want anything too corny. Kind of wanted to make it as close, true to the heart, 90s as possible. And you know, low-key, your boy needs some songwriting credits on this one. So here's my lyrics that I put, and then I'll play along with my dry vocals. You know, I really have to bear with me on this one. It took me a couple takes to get it all right.
Too close to call it now, 'cause we only got one little night to link up. Hope you don't fake on me, if it's meant to be you and I. If you like, you'll find me, girl.
Yeah, so that was my little performance. You know, this is a nice little segue to get into songwriting whole time. So what I did, bounce that out, put it into Otomy, and then I got all of these vocals, kind of played around with the different harmonies. I always be playing around with my different little presets, see what works, see what doesn't, see what voices work on this particular project. Really is kind of a lot of trial and error, that's why it can kind of take a while. So now they sound like this.
Too close to call it now, 'cause we only got one little night to link up. Hope you don't fake on me, if it's meant to be you and I. If you like, you'll find me, girl.
So it's getting there, but still gotta do some processing. So first thing what I did was add crowd chambers, especially if this preset does something really cool to the vocals.
Too close to call it now, 'cause we only got one little night to link up. Hope you don't fake on me, if it's meant to be you and I. If you like, you'll find me, girl.
Yeah, it just sounds a little bit more full, I would say. All right, so then we got RC20, Polyphonic Music Library, Gospel Choir Distortion, really nice. Then we got some EQ, taking out some of that unnecessary low end, a little boost at 1500, just thought it sounded nice. Got a Clever, and those are my settings for that. So last but not least, I'm gonna show you my master bus. Pretty straightforward. So my melody bus, I got this black audio. I turn on this auto gain and just crunch in the input till this turns orange. Kind of gives that a nice little hardware emulation. Plus it's free, so can't really beat that. Then I put a little bit of reverb onto all of the tracks. As you notice, I don't really put that much processing in my melodies, but I'd rather wait to do it in the melody bus just because of latency issues. And when I'm, performing on a piano and stuff, I kind of stay in that mindset rather than, switching on to the mixing cap. In my submix chain, I got the EQ, cutting out the lows and cutting out a little bit of the highs. And we got SSL, here's my settings, and then I'll just turn down the threshold until it gets closer to 4. The purpose of this is just to really glue all the instruments together. Then we got tape and another tape. Just crank in the input, lower the output a little bit. So I use retro tape, and I tend to gravitate towards this preset and just mess with the noise and the age. And then last but not least, got Soothe on the master. Yeah, so I did have a sound shifter on here. I played with a couple different ones, and sometimes when I feel like it works on a lot of different keys, up or down, I kind of just tend to keep it the same.